Yes, Sonic Unleashed. So it is time to finally talk about this game, and what a weird reception this game has had over the past few years. It's almost like we're talking about a different game because Sonic Unleashed, upon its release, was reviled. It wasn't liked too much. A lot of people really hated the Werehog, which is one of the things we're going to be talking about this game, of course, because you can't talk about Sonic Unleashed without talking about Sonic's infamous transformation into a sort of werewolf hedgehog hybrid. And this game has gotten a lot of praise in recent years, and I don't know why that is. Many people seem to have broken off from the pack of hatred and decided to trade that in for glowing praise for the game, and I believe that this game always deserved that from the very beginning. I don't understand how your appreciation can change over time. Now, that's interesting because I've had those experiences, but in different ways. You come back when you're a little bit older, a little bit more seasoned, and perhaps that's what it is. Maybe people were younger when they played this game, and when they came back, as an adult, maybe played this game as a younger teenager, or just a child, maybe 8 or 9 years old, and they come back and they find a much different game. And that's always been a thing for me with movies, and mostly music, I've noticed, more than video games or any other form of media. You go back later and you find a pleasant surprise that the content is much different than what you first came across. It's almost like you're listening or watching or playing something completely new. And that's the lifeline of Sonic Unleashed, really. So what is this game all about? Why were people bent out of shape about it? And I think I can pretty much articulate what people liked about it and what they didn't. So first of all, there was expectations for this game. This game was also originally called World Adventure, Sonic World Adventure, leading people to believe that this was finally going to be Sonic Adventure 3, and it actually was. It started in development as an actual direct sequel, but different ideas were flung around and new concepts were introduced, including the Werehog, and sure enough, this game became Sonic Unleashed, and it became its own beast of sorts. A pun sort of intended there, but this game really caused a big rift in the community, especially because it was hot off the heels of Sonic 06. And people wanted a return to form of sorts, whatever that may be in their minds, whatever they thought that the next Sonic the Hedgehog game should have been. People wanted something, I think, a bit more in the traditional sense, and Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 were not really that traditional when you think about the classic games, but whatever. Sonic fans are fickle, and I'm a gigantic one, and I always admit that here on this channel. But people really wanted something different, something that they could really sink their teeth into and get that nostalgia, get the same feelings they had when they played Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. And I've said this in my retrospectives, there were many problems with Sonic Adventure 2 that people refused to address, even though it is a good game and it is a good Sonic game. A lot of people don't seem to want to talk about that. And I think I really enjoyed Sonic Unleashed. I definitely enjoy it more than Sonic 06. I think that goes without saying for a lot of people. And but I like it because I actually think it's a really good game, and it offers a lot of innovative gameplay and a lot of new ideas that are pretty loyal to Sonic and its gameplay style. It just adds on something new. So let's talk about how this game starts off. It's probably got one of the best intros I've ever seen for any Sonic game, without a doubt. I mean, this is just a beautiful CG cutscene. It's just phenomenal. I don't think we've even seen anything close to this in any other Sonic game that preceded it. And you could tell, like, Sonic just looks badass here. He's going after Eggman. He turns into Super Sonic, and it's just absolutely just beautifully visually. But Eggman manages to lure him into a trap, and Sonic is caught in this energy field. So Eggman fires a giant laser cannon that has been powered by the Chaos Emeralds and releases Dark Gaia, who is an ancient beast who's lived in the planet's core for millions of years, and now he's been unleashed. And this releases dark energy, which turns Sonic into the Werehog. And it also sucks the energy right out of the Chaos Emeralds, making them worthless. And Eggman ejects Sonic from his battleship, and he falls to Earth, and he lands on top of a strange looking fairy creature that he nicknames Chip. And Chip has saved Sonic from falling to his death, and they decide that they're going to set off on an adventure and try to find out who Chip is, because he can't remember who the hell he is. He's had memory loss. And after Sonic and Chip meet up with Tails, they find Professor Pickle, who has been kidnapped by Eggman, and he is a scientist who has knowledge of Dark Gaia, and informs Sonic and the gang that if they return the 7 Chaos Emeralds to 7 temples, they will be able to restore the power to the Chaos Emeralds and be able to thwart Dark Gaia. So of course Sonic agrees, and he sets off with Chip on a brand new adventure. And this is where we're introduced to the formula of the game, and we will be playing through daytime stages as Sonic in his regular form, and nighttime stages as his alter ego, the Werehog. And this is where a lot of people have problems with this game, with Sonic Unleashed, because these are two totally radical different gameplay styles, where the daytime stages are fast-paced, classic Sonic style action stages where you're basically traveling from point A to point B at breakneck speed. There's also a lot of challenges to have in these stages, as we'll get into a moment. And we've got the Werehog stages, which are at a slower pace and feature more of a beat-em-up style of gameplay that had never really been seen in the Sonic universe before. And I, for some reason, when playing this game, took to it right away. I think that the Werehog stages have a lot to offer, and they're quite fun. There's a lot of different platforming challenges, and you'll be fighting against Dark Gaia's shadowy minions, and be using all different types of techniques, and you'll be leveling up constantly in this game. You'll be collecting these diamond-shaped crystals that will act as experience points, and for some reason they're called Chaos Orbs, but aren't orbs supposed to be round objects? Well, I don't know, but anyway, they're Chaos Orbs nonetheless, and you can use them to actually not only level up the Werehog and teach him new moves and add on to his life gauge and many different aspects of his attributes, but you can also have Sonic go faster and increase his ring energy. And this plays into this brand new concept that was introduced in this game, and that's the boost feature, something that we would be seeing all the way up into the current Sonic games as Sonic Forces. This is a feature where you can increase Sonic's speed as long as his ring energy holds out, and that is the new use of rings. It's not only now just a life insurance to protect you from when you get hit from an enemy, or collect 100 and get an extra life. You could actually now burn through these rings and use them as energy to fuel Sonic's speed. And that's where this game really excels, the speed factor. And this game really captures the speed of Sonic not quite like how we've ever seen before. I didn't really get that sense of speed like this in Sonic Adventure or in Sonic Adventure 2. Here, like, you really see just what Sonic is capable of and the fast Mach speeds that he can reach. And this game, still to this day, is the most gorgeous looking Sonic the Hedgehog game. No contest. I mean, it just looks drop dead gorgeous without a doubt. Now, the speed comes at a price because these levels, the daytime stages, more so than the night stages because of the fast speeds you're traveling at, because the night stages are relatively slow paced. But you're going to have tons of obstacles, and if you're playing this game blind the first time through, you're going to be running into tons of obstacles and shit. I mean, you're going to be like, whoa, where's all this stuff coming from? And it adds to the challenge. It adds to the replayability. If you're into getting high scores at the end of every stage and you want to S-rank stages, well, you're going to want to repeat these stages multiple times. And these stages are a lot of fun, so chances are you are going to want to repeat them. And you're going to probably have to repeat them in certain cases because you have to collect sun and moon medals. And this is another very controversial part of this game. This is a new collectible that allows you to enter the different stages throughout the game. Sun medals for the daytime stages, moon medals for the nighttime stages. And it can be pretty annoying. It's quite simple to find most of the medals thanks to the slower pace of the Hedgehog stages. But the daytime stages, which emphasize speed, they're not really built so much for exploration. Because when Sonic is kind of just walking and not really going fast and not boosting, he sort of controls awkwardly. I think the controls are very good when boosting and going at high speeds, considering that the game can find a good control scheme to handle such a high speed character such as Sonic traveling at these speeds is very impressive. And for the most part, you are going to be traveling at high speeds. And if you want to rank high when it comes to the grading system, when you finish a stage, you're going to want to go as fast as you can. Going back to the obstacles that I mentioned before, sometimes it can be really frustrating. Like I said, if you're going in blind, you're going to be hitting a lot of stuff at first. And some stages are better than others, but certain times you'll get stages like Empire City Day where you'll have to memorize the stages because it's almost impossible the first time through knowing what to expect. And I just mentioned Empire City. We've got to talk a little bit about the different stages. And the stages have different variations depending on whether you're playing the Hedgehog nighttime stages or the Sonic daytime stages. And for the most part, the daytime stages are superior. I will agree with the majority on that. But I really do enjoy the Hedgehog's platform heavy stages and the combat that's introduced. Because once you start cashing in and using the Chaos Orbs, it's really a lot of fun because there's so many different techniques that you could use. There's airborne attacks. You could slam your fists on the ground, creating seismic activity like a hammer. You can use your body as a cartwheel. There's just so many different awesome techniques, and it's so much fun. I don't know how so many people overlook it and criticize it. They write it off as like a God of War copycat, but I mean, I think it controls really nicely and fun. Yes, some of the platform gets a little bit tight. We have to talk about the Empire City stage that I mentioned before, the nighttime stage. That one's a pain in the ass, sometimes doing the balancing act. I don't really enjoy that as much. Sometimes that could be kind of frustrating. And the Hedgehog, if you haven't noticed, has stretchy limbs. Yeah, his arms and legs can stretch out like Stretch Armstrong, if you get that retro reference, guys. But you could also use those stretchy limbs to your advantage and use them to swing from poles And also, when you're about to fall, you could also save yourself by using your limbs, which is kind of cool. So, the Werehog is a very versatile character, and I don't think it's a badly designed character. I don't know how you could really look at the Werehog and say, like, it's an ugly design. I know, including myself, I know I'd probably prefer looking at Sonic most of the time, but is it so bad that for one game that, you know, we get to play half of it as a different but fun character? Because I'm having fun pretty much as I'm playing as this Werehog, to tell you the truth. I'm not really bored, I'm having fun, and Sonic is a platformer. Just because it's in a different style doesn't mean that it's bad. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention a pretty crucial point of gameplay that's been added for the first time ever in the Sonic series, and that's QTEs. Also known as quick time events, and these are timed button presses that you have to do at particular moments during gameplay, and these have been very controversial. They mostly got their start in the Resident Evil series, and many people were very split on them back then. But Resident Evil 4 is considered one of the greatest games of all time, so why not put it in Sonic Unleashed? And I think it works very well here. Now, sometimes failing to complete a QTE as Sonic can result in an untimely death when you're above a pitfall, but if you do it at a not so crucial point, you'll just fall onto a lower path. And this is more evident in stages like Rooftop Run. The Werehog gets these too, but they're just used for finishing moves, and I gotta tell you something, they're not really worth going for most of the time. I'd rather just actually finish them off by myself, the enemies, so I didn't really get a lot of use out of this, even during my past playthroughs, to tell you the truth. The only time I ever really remember to use the quick time events as the Werehog is when I face off against the Titans, which are these really big dark Gaia minions. The other thing that has to be said about these Werehog stages, even though I do enjoy my time in them, they are extremely long. If you're playing Cool Edge, you will notice that you will spend an alarming amount of time here. And this was my second playthrough of the game ever for this review, and I spent 35 minutes, you can see right here in this stage, and this is kind of what I sort of remembered what I was doing. It's just a little bit too much, and God forbid if you die, because this is a really long one, and there are so many pitfalls. I get so nervous on this stage thinking that I'm going to die. There's certain sections where they give you extra lives where they kind of know that you're going to fuck up, but man, this one is a real nail biter, and I do like the design of it. There's like a lot of different obstacles and platforming challenges, so it definitely is fun, but it might be a little bit overboard in the length. Yeah, might. I think it's safe to say that it definitely is. And Skyscraper Scamper, which is part of Empire City, oh man, during this playthrough, I actually completed this level, and then when I went to go turn the game off, sure enough, my progress didn't save. For some reason, after this stage, it doesn't autosave. And as far as I know, it pretty much autosaves after every single stage that you complete, either day or night. So this was really strange and also really frustrating, because even though I do like Skyscraper Scamper Night, I did not want to complete it again after already completing it just a day or so ago. Now, the stages are contained within hub worlds, which are different countries throughout the planet. You'll visit a country by the name of Patos first and foremost, which is supposed to be like Greece. And you'll enter into a stage, Windmill Isle, and you'll see a beautiful seaside scenery and white architecture, and it just looks so beautiful, so dazzling. And you'll just look at the graphics, and they just look so sharp. And then you'll go to Spagonia, which is supposed to be like Italy, and play through my personal favorite stage in the whole game, which is Rooftop Run, which is just so much fun. you'll just see so many different things and obstacles and different scenery. It's just really just another dazzling stage. And then you come to Chunnan, which is supposed to be like China, and you'll play a stage called Dragon Road, which is much like the Great Wall of China, and you'll also run along serpent dragon statues. There's just so much originality. You just, by hearing this, if you've never played this game, you're like, whoa, this is a Sonic game? I've never seen this before. You know, we're used to grassy plains, you know, fiery temples and underwater labyrinths and things like that, but you haven't really seen anything like this in Sonic up to this point. And if you haven't played this game, I think you're going to be blown away. And I don't think the game got enough credit for all the originality that it introduced. And I'm talking about the daytime stages. Let's not even talk about the nighttime stages. If you want to use that as part of your argument, that's fine. But I say, you know, just look at just how much originality that got put into these stages. And I love the hub worlds, and they're populated with so many great, interesting people. And I like the hub worlds that were in Sonic Adventure, you know, Central Square and the Mystic Ruins and all that. But I have to say that I really prefer these different countries because they have different cultures, and it's really interesting talking to some of these characters, and some of them will give you missions, and these can range from performing a task for a person or saving them from Dark Gaia's influence by using a special camera that you'll get later on in the game. And the rewards are not really anything too special. It's kind of just a completionist thing. It's kind of just satisfying knowing that you did these tasks and that you helped out the people. So it's really entirely up to you if you feel like it's necessary. Most people, I kind of feel, won't really want to bother. But it's really more about getting to know these people, and they have different personalities, different designs and facial expressions. So it's a lot of fun. And it really opens up the world of Sonic, you know, and I kind of like the idea. I know people are opposed to having humans in the Sonic universe, but I do like having them there. I'm a Sonic X fan, so sue me, but I do like having humans in my Sonic game. They do work. If done correctly, they do work. I might be going out on a limb here, but I think I have to go at Wentos as my favorite. This guy speaks through a Chow puppet, and he's scared to talk to you at first. He's a traveling salesman, and sooner or later he opens up to you when you speak to him. And I just really like this guy's design. You can't even see his eyes. His top hat is pulled over his head. I think that is just really humorous. Love the design. Also, Mark Antonio. This guy is scared of ghosts at first, but then he becomes almost uncomfortably obsessed with them. I'll tell you who my least favorite character is, that asshole chili dog vendor. This guy wants you to complete his stupid missions before he lets Sonic buy his favorite food, the fucking chili dogs. Just give me the damn chili dogs, dude. Why are you making me complete these ridiculous, overly difficult missions that I will never do? I'll never do them. But yeah, just in general, I'm a sucker for hub worlds. You know, I just like towns. You know, I've just always got a kick ever since I'm a kid of playing Ocarina of Time, and, you know, just going inside the houses and things like that. And, you know, you don't really go into any houses here in this game, but you just get to walk around. It's really interesting just walking around Spagonia at night and just really just enjoying the great scenery, the great graphics, and the music. Oh my god, the fantastic music. Whether you're in the hub worlds or in the stages themselves, you'll be treated to what's undoubtedly one of the greatest 3D Sonic soundtracks of all time. It's just such a joy to listen to, and there's so many different styles of music presented here, and they're all kind of in the same cultural realms as the countries and stages that you're playing in. So Chunyan definitely has an Asian flavor soundtrack going on. When you're in Spagonia, you definitely have that Italian vibe, and when you're in the Alaska stage, Cool Edge, you hear just what's just a scintillating, just calming vibe, and it's just fantastic. Just such a spectacular soundtrack. I absolutely love it. And when you come upon the end of the game and you hit the final temple and insert the final Chaos Emerald into the pedestal, Chip will get sucked into a mural that's up on the wall, and he will realize that he actually is Light Gaia, and he is destined to face off against Dark Gaia. And this is his true calling in life, so now he finally realizes who he is, and you will set off to Eggman Land. Yeah, the thing that we've been hearing about since Sonic Adventure, Eggman has finally built his stronghold that he has been talking about for so long, and it is absolutely fucking bananas. This place is full of all sorts of tricks and traps, and you'll be spending a lot of time in this level, and it eats up extra lives like candy. You'll be switching between Sonic and the Werehog constantly, and there's so many pitfalls. You'll get to this pipe area where you need to balance as the Werehog and jump over these saw blades, and man, I mean, it's kind of tough to figure out a lot of this. And I remember the first time when I got to this part where the badniks keep coming out one after the other, Eggman's robots, and you keep on fighting them as the Werehog, and you'll be fighting dozens and dozens of them, and they keep on coming, they keep getting pumped out of this pipe, and little did I know that you had to break this false wall here. And I remember during my most recent playthrough for this review, I forgot about it. I actually had to go online and see, like, what's up, like, what do I have to do here again? I knew that there was something that it couldn't be that I just have to fight so many, because I kept dying. And man, if you lose all your lives, you have to start all the way from the beginning, and it is such a long stage. And even if you know what you're doing, you're gonna at least spend about 20 minutes here. It's unbelievable. It is a mammoth of a level, but in retrospect, when you look back on it, it is very well designed. There's so many different ideas and pitfalls going on here that you just can't help but really look at it as a real marvel of level design when you really think about it. This truly does feel like the final test of Eggman. So after completing the tumultuous Eggman Land, it's on to face Dr. Eggman in his Egg Dragoon, his giant mech. And this boss battle is pretty easy, and you'll know why in just a moment. It's basically a bunch of quick time events, and you'll end up completing it rather quickly. And then it's on to face Dark Gaia. And Chip, who now has realized his calling as Light Gaia, will take all of the temples from across the world and form them into a giant colossus. And you will use the colossus to guide through Dark Gaia's barrage of boulders that he's throwing at you. And I really like this whole thing as you're fighting the Egg Dragoon and Dark Gaia. It's all above lava, and you're basically fighting in a giant crater, and I really like the atmosphere. Eggman has been tossed away by Dark Gaia. Eggman can't use Dark Gaia. Dark Gaia doesn't want any of his shit, and he goes flying off. And this part can be pretty tricky maneuvering through the boulders because there's not really a lot of space between them, and you also have to block because after a while Dark Gaia will charge up a big beam attack and launch it at you, and it takes away a lot of health, but you can buffer it by blocking it. Then when you finally make it to Dark Gaia, you have to battle it out with him using quick time events. Once again, boy does this game love those. And then you will have this section where you'll have to use Sonic, and he's running through the body of the Colossus, which is kind of cool, and he has to run all the way to Dark Gaia, and these parts are pretty tricky, I have to say, and there's a time limit, and it's pretty hectic. I mean, you basically, you hear the music, and you hear these sound effects, and man, it's kind of jarring, and you're like, what, you know, where am I going? What do I have to do? And it's pretty tough. There's a lot of obstacles, but finally you'll beat Dark Gaia down, and then it's on to the next phase where you have to face Dark Gaia's new form, Perfect Dark Gaia, and now you turn into Super Sonic. The Chaos Emeralds are fully restored thanks to your doings throughout the game. This is pretty awesome, and I love the instrumental of the main theme that plays, Endless Possibility. And this is another pretty tricky part where you're on a time limit, because you are actually not fighting Perfect Gaia in this phase of the fight. Actually, Chip he's still using the Colossus. You have to take down the shield that is surrounding Perfect Gaia, and you have to do so by destroying the serpent heads that are popping out of the shield. And this, I gotta tell you something, the controls are not really the best during this part, especially because the serpent heads knock you back. You know, you have to hit them a few times, and every single time you hit them, they kind of hit, and there's some recoil to it, sending you flying in the other direction. So it's kind of hard to really maneuver yourself here. It's not really horrible, but it's not really the best. So after doing this and the shield goes down, it is time for Super Sonic to now go one-on-one with Perfect Gaia, and this is really the easiest part of the game. You know, you've pretty much, had to tangle with some pretty tough phases, so I guess the developers thought like, okay, you know what, let's just have the fun part where you could just be Super Sonic and just crash into this guy. And after it's all said and done, the day is saved, and Chip is now gonna go away. He now has realized his calling as Light Gaia, so his presence is not really needed here. He's now going to await Dark Gaia when he awakens again in, so many years. And that's about it. And it's pretty touching, the end. Sonic receives Chip's necklace as a gift, so he'll never forget him and his friendship. So it's pretty touching. And then Sonic goes running off, and oh look, it's Tails. Where's he basically been this whole adventure? Man, Tails on the sideline here, pretty much for the whole adventure, only popping up now and again. But you see Tails flying behind you in a tornado, and there's a good visual to end it, and so ends the adventure. Sonic's back to normal, there's no more Werehog, and now they're racing off to their next adventure. So yeah, overall, I really do like Sonic Unleashed. Is it a perfect game? No, of course it's not. But did it deserve all the hate that it got back in the day when it first came out? Of course not. And I see a lot of people have now come to terms with that they overreacted to the Werehog and the format of the game in general, and now it seems like a lot of people have really taken to the strong suits of Sonic Unleashed, and it makes me happy to see that. But I always knew that this game was good, and not to toot my own horn, but I think a lot of people love the outrage culture that goes into video games, and they like to feel part of a team when people are ragging on the game. But that just reminds me that you should always play and like the games that you like, and not worry so much what the peanut gallery has to say. Anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed the review. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bells to get all notifications when I post all my new videos. And if you're not getting those notifications, please come to the channel and check out to see if you've missed any of my videos. And I want to thank all my patrons for your continued support, and I'll see you next time, guys.